G'day legends, and today's video is a very, very special video. It's something that we have been working on in the live streams for several hours. This video is about the halls of Valhalla. Valhalla, that special place in heaven where some of your favorite fighters go to. The warriors that have battled in the octagon for eternity. And once they have been defeated, they get to ascend into the halls of Valhalla and get their drink on with all their boys and their mates. Why are we doing this video today? Because we've got essentially 3 weeks with no UFC. I know we're going to have Aaron Blanchfield at the Apex, and then we're going to have UFC 316, but these cards aren't real cards. These cards aren't real cards, and with having an off week and the UFC dropping all of their summer news, we're in for a bit of a UFC drought, so I think this is the perfect time to jump on the tier list. It's not even really a tier list, it's more of a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece of craftsmanship that the boys on the live stream, the Council of Chads, have come up with, and it is the halls of Valhalla. Let us ascend into the heavens now, into Valhalla. This is it, boys. Welcome to Valhalla. A little overview of what is going on here and what are the rules of gaining access into Valhalla. Obviously, you've got the 2 great UFC shields on each side of Valhalla, along with these 4 sweeping tables where all the boys are going to be enjoying their drinks. But not just any fighter can get into Valhalla. You see, to get into Valhalla, you have to pass Odin's judgment. There's Odin up there, keeping his watchful eye over the warriors that wish to enter Valhalla. These are the rules of entering. You have got to be in at least one war. One bloody war, and it can be one of those crazy ass Apex scraps that we see, or it can be a real Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald kind of a war. You've got to be in one war, and also you have got to be cleanly chinned and cleanly slept to get sent up into Valhalla. And following these 2 very strict criteria, you are going to notice that some of your favorite fighters aren't going to make it into Valhalla. And some very surprising fighters are going to make it into Valhalla. And this is what made this list so bloody controversial. For example, one of the greats of MMA, Nick Diaz, mate. Let's put him in there for Odin's judgment. Nick Diaz. This seems to be the sort of high watermark for what was happening. Nick Diaz, right? He's been in so many wars in the UFC. In so many wars. But, and we asked anyone who popped in on the live stream, when has Nick Diaz been clearly chinned, sent to the Shadow Realm? I'm not talking an Anthony Smith curl up into a ball TKO, or the fight just being over, or him waving it off. I mean chinned. And we could not find Nick Diaz being cleanly chinned. And unfortunately, Nick Diaz, Odin weeps when he looks at him, boys. Odin weeps because he is not granted entry into Valhalla. And this was the sort of rule that this list was built around. There are some hardcore warriors that have graced the octagon that are just, they're real Torstigs. Tostig. He's from Season 1 and Season 2 of Vikings. And he begs Ragnar to let him go on the raids to England. Begs him. Because all of his mates have died and passed on into Valhalla. And he knows that Odin looks down on him. But Tostig is not allowed entry because he hasn't died in glorious battle yet. If someone out there sees Nick Diaz playing Grand Theft Auto Online, if he sees him out there, out on the streets, lighting fires to bushes, playing Grand Theft Auto Online, sleep Nick Diaz online in video games, sleep Nick Diaz so he can get out there and join his boys up in Valhalla. A couple of other notable mentions for Valhalla before we really get into unveiling what has been going on here. Valhalla's for the boys. Alright, Valhalla's for the boys. But that doesn't mean there haven't been some great women that have graced the octagon and do deserve, as much as Valhalla is for the boys, they do deserve to be there. So, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, for her absolute wars, her war that she had with Weili Zhang, was allowed, and she was granted permission by Odin to ascend into the halls of Valhalla to serve beers to the boys. On you, Joanna. On you. We're happy to have you up here, mate. And Rose Namajunas. And what? It's amazing. Once she ascended into the heavens and went into Valhalla, her hair grew back instantly. So Rose Namajunas and Joanna Jędrzejczyk have been granted access to Valhalla and ascended up to serve the drinks to the boys. Now, let us get into unveiling who sits in the halls of Valhalla. Jesus, what is this bloody madness, you might ask? I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it all in one picture. So we are going to be deleting some of these blocks and going through some of the decisions that have been made as we unveil it. Now, the rules of Valhalla are the closer you are to the dais at the back, the more godly your status and great your status is in Valhalla. And the boys that are sitting at the very back of the hall, looking out over the other 4 tables, are they are the goats. They didn't just have one war, they had many wars. They deserve to be in there. So that's how we're going to be unveiling the boys. And obviously Don Fry has gotten into Valhalla. I mean, how could Don Fry not be in Valhalla? And yes, he's down the front. Obviously, he could be sitting at the back of the dais, but Don Fry, he's got the freedom to just wander around Valhalla however he pleases, and he's getting in nice and close to Joanna Jędrzejczyk, just checking out the jugs of beer that she's pouring to the rest of the boys. So it's obviously Don Fry smoking a cigar. He can wander around the halls of Valhalla freely. Right, let us begin over at the left-hand side of Valhalla, over here, Dougie, and delete some of these blocks and just talk through some of these names of the people that have made it in to the mighty, mighty hallways. Some people of note. All right, down here we got Sergey Pavlovich, Paul Craig. I know, Paul Craig made it in. I think we'll talk about Paul Craig. Stipe Miocic, obviously. I mean, Stipe Miocic obviously had the wars with DC, and then, of course, he was slept by Francis Ngannou. You know, he was TKO'd against John Jones, but he was cleanly slept against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou nearly bloody overeamed Stipe Miocic and killed him. Ben Askren, we'll talk about him as well. We'll go in a little bit of detail about Ben Askren. We got a little Heathen Stevens, and then, of course, Junior Dos Santos up the end. Paul Craig, right? We had a little bit of debating about Paul Craig, but we went back and forth with him. We watched one of his fights. I believe the fight that was considered a war, where he was getting damaged, beaten, ground and pound, savagely beaten up on his back. Paul Craig's always on his back, but you know what I mean. Bloody cut open, stayed in the fight, was the Magomed Ankalaev fight. Someone remind me if I'm getting that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was for. The Magomed Ankalaev fight was enough of a war to get him in there, and then, of course, Paul Craig's been chinned bloody every day of the week. Paul Craig's probably getting chinned by someone in Scotland right now. The other one of note, you know, this is what kills people. What do you mean Nick Diaz can't get in, but bloody funky Ben Askren can get in? Bro, you watch Robbie Lawler beat the living shit out of Ben Askren, and you tell me Ben Askren wasn't in a war. And the way that he was able to bite down on his mount guard with his no hips and actually find a way to submit or stop Robbie Lawler. I mean, the fight was... He got the win over Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler's arm went limp on purpose, not on purpose. Listen, doesn't matter. We're not talking about that. The fact of the matter is, Ben Askren was in a war. He was in a war with Robbie Lawler, one of the absolute GOATs, and Jorge Masvidal is the definition of sending somebody up to the Shadow Realm. So Ben Askren has earned his way into Valhalla. I don't think he should be sitting all the way up near close to the dais. That seems a bit wrong. He can go down here with Sergey Pavlovich. Stipe can move up a little bit closer. We had some fiddling around to do with it. I mean, this is one of those lists where it could have gone for bloody ever. But no, I think by the time we actually put this on video and put it in the history books, Ben Askren isn't sitting up by the dais. No, absolutely not, mate. The next table up along is... Let's get this out of the way so we can see all the boys at the table, all the brothers over at the table. They're all having a damn good time. Oh, mate, the wars. Kamaru Usman, right? The wars with Colby Covington. Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, 1 and 2. Absolute bloody wars. And then, of course, Leon Edwards sent him to the Shadow Realm. The Shadow Realm. Mike Perry, obviously on the table with the brothers. Khalil Roundtree deserves to be there as well. Dricus du Plessis. Very interesting, right? Now, Dricus du Plessis has been to war with Israel Adesanya. Him and Israel Adesanya was an absolute war. And you might be asking, hang on a second, Dricus du Plessis has never been chinned in the UFC. But we went down into the history books. And Dricus du Plessis was chinned on the regional scene. Slept cold, so obviously he deserves to be in there. Anderson Silva had the living shit beaten out of him by Chael Sonnen for an entire round. Anderson Silva was also slept by Chris Weidman, so he deserves to be in Valhalla. Bloody Rampage, bloody Derek Lewis, bloody Alistair Overeem, chinned, destroyed, head at one point was split open, popped like a bloody watermelon with red just gushing everywhere. Alistair Overeem has been killed many times. Bobby Green is down there as well. Daniel Cormier, again, slept by John Jones, been in the wars with DC. Obviously, Daniel Cormier deserves to be in there. And Israel Adesanya. And no, it's not Israel Adesanya because of the Nasadena Mavov fight. No. Israel Adesanya was shadow realmed by Alex Pereira in kickboxing. So Israel Adesanya earned his seat in Valhalla when Alex Pereira sent him away. I know the timelines are a little bit messed up, but, Odin doesn't care about the timelines. Odin just cares, have you been in a war? And do not tell me that Israel Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum was in a war, because it fucking was, mate. It fucking was. It was a massive war. So Israel Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum was a war. And he was sent into the Shadow Realm by Alex Pereira. So Israel Adesanya, we salute you. Over here, this was what I think we ended up calling this the Legends wing over here. Of course, some of these boys are legends. Like Rampage is a bloody legend. Anderson's a legend. Of course, some of these guys are legends. But here's you got the brothers in the legends, and then you got some of the boys as well. So we got some of the boys over here. Tai Tuivasa. He's got his own special meal. Macca's and Coke. Everyone else in Valhalla is drinking ale out of curved horns, but not Tai Tuivasa. No, Tai Tuivasa, he's got a cheeseburger. He's got several cheeseburgers. This is like, does anyone remember that episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson gets sent to hell and it's just donuts forever and he actually rather enjoys it? That's Tai Tuivasa in Valhalla. Everyone else is sinking piss. Tai Tuivasa just keeps gobbling down all the food. Cyril Gane was an absolute war for Tai Tuivasa, and Tai Tuivasa has been slept about 1,000 times these days. Johnny Walker is down there as well. Andrei Arlovsky. You got some of the great. You got Fedor. You got BJ Penn. You got Chuck Liddell. Some of the greats. Big Ben Rothwell, the GOAT. Ben Rothwell, the forgotten GOAT. Ben Rothwell is sitting up near the dais. Luke Rockhold, Michael Bloody Bisping, mate. I mean, he was slept so badly he lost an eye, and the GSP fight was a solid back and forth war. But then, of course, he was in that war with Dan Henderson as well, and there's Dan Henderson. The Doom is down there as well. And let's get rid of the old last block. Oh, man, this is going to piss some people off. Yeah, this is going to piss some people off. Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad made it. Bilal Muhammad. Now, Bilal Muhammad, someone please, God, remind me. He was in 2 or 3 wars. Now, I know, saying Bilal Muhammad was in a war, obviously, the Jack Della Maddalena fight that just happened was a war. But early in his career, he was in a war as well. And we watched it live on the stream, and I can't remember what it was. And he's also been cleanly slept. Vicente Luque sent his eyes rolling to the back of his skull, put him into the Shadow Realm. You got Michael Chandler as well. Jorge Masvidal made it into Valhalla. Alex Pereira obviously made it into Valhalla. He was slept by Israel Adesanya, been in several wars as well as Alex Pereira. Conor McGregor. Now, this was an interesting one. People wanted to know, what war had Conor McGregor been in? And I reckon Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 2 is as good of a war as you're going to get. That is as good of a war as you're ever going to get. And Dustin Poirier left Conor McGregor cold and crumpled up against the cage. Now, whether or not it's a shadow realming, considering how harshly we have set the bar, because Conor McGregor was actually entered into Valhalla quite early. And now that I think back on it, I'm not sure if the Dustin Poirier was a shadow realming, or did he just slump against the cage? I don't remember. Conor McGregor, as we finish off this video, see how early he was? He was before we even had Odin's Judgment. I think I'm going to need to go back and re-watch the Conor McGregor against Dustin Poirier. And was he Shadow Realm? But let me know about that down there in the comments. Because this is a list that we are going to be adding to from now on as we watch UFC fight cards on the live stream. That's what's one of the fun things about doing lists like this on the live and then keeping them on the computer. We can always go back to them. As fighters continue to enter Valhalla, we can keep expanding the hallways of Valhalla and putting new fighters in here. But now that I'm thinking back on it, was Conor McGregor cleanly chinned by Dustin Poirier? Or did he just sort of slump against the... Was he still, like, awake? Interesting. Let me remind me down there in the comments. Dominic Reyes been to war and had his head absolutely skull caved in by Yuri Prohaska. Josh Emmett lives in Valhalla. He descends down once every 2 years to re-enter the octagon and then goes back into Valhalla, does Josh Emmett. And then, of course, Mirko Krokop. Being Krokop as Krokop. Now, let's focus in on the back here. Let's focus in at the back. Who are the legends that sit at the back of the hallways of Valhalla, smiling down upon the rest of the lads? Oh, my God, what a beautiful image. Let me move myself up and get myself out of the way. You know what? I'm going to settle myself right in here in between Joanna's jugs of beer. The Korean Zombie. I forgot. But Max Holloway finished the Korean Zombie. Did he? I believe Max Holloway did finish the Korean Zombie. I completely keep forgetting about that knockout. Max Holloway finished the Korean Zombie. I'm pretty sure that he did. Be quiet, Doug, so you can edit this part out where you quickly research. Oh my God, he goes down face first. Yes, Max Holloway did sleep the Korean Zombie. I never forget a knockout. Dan Hooker, again, he's another one of the fucking psychos that lives in Valhalla. Michael Chandler chinned in. Tony Ferguson, do we need to go on? Do you understand the idea of Valhalla now? When you look at these legends back here, you're starting to get it, right? Tony Ferguson. Mark Hunt, again, resides in Valhalla. What's that Mark Hunt's got there? It's a bloody chicken wing. Mark Hunt, tied to Ivasa. They love to just scoff food in Valhalla and drink beers, but they can have both. They're bloody legends, mate. They've earned it. Yuri Prohaska lives in Valhalla as well. Alex Pereira destroyed Yuri Prohaska's chin 3 times in one fight. End of the first round, start of the second round, and then staring at him again while he was trying to get back up. Vanderlei, destroyed by Chael Sonnen. Vanderlei. Justin Gaethje up in Valhalla as well, obviously murdered by Max Holloway. Where's Max Holloway? Why is Max Holloway not in here? What have we done? Why are we releasing this video without Max Holloway being in here? Live chat, this is your fault. How dare we say that the Valhalla tier list was done without Max? Max, get in there, me boy. Get in there, my boy. Look, for Max Holloway, he's been in the UFC since he was 6 years old. Max Holloway absolutely deserves to sit up by the legends. Absolutely deserves to sit up by... Dominic Reyes moved down. Emmett moved down. Krokop moved down. Max... Should Max be at the legends table? Should Max be at the legends table? I mean, he is UFC 300 point down and swing. And he wasn't just doing it on UFC 300. Max Holloway did that back in the day. Back when he was on the prelims, Max would do the point down. And so one of the first fights I ever watched, back when I was watching UFC at the pub, it's one of the fights that made me fall in love with it. I can't remember who he was doing it with, but I remember we were sitting there with jugs of beer, and Max Holloway pointed down at the canvas, and him and some bloke just fucking went at it in the last few seconds of the fight. And it was one of the things that knew I had found the sport for me. This is being very biased. But then Max Holloway wars with Alexander Volkanovski. Won the BMF belt. Had a great fight with Dustin Poirier in their second fight. And he's going, you know what, boys? This is how it works. Max Holloway is one of the GOATs, man. He's going in there behind TKZ. Max Holloway gets a seat at the dais. Absolutely, Krokop, you can go back. So can you, Josh Emmett. You guys can go back. These guys get a seat at the dais for sure. So Max Holloway's at the dais as well. Live at it on video. This is how it works, you see. Yuri Prohaska, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier sent up to Valhalla by Justin Gaethje. These two have always been the Goku and Vegeta of MMA to me. Always to me. And then, of course, to be one half of one of the greatest fights of all time, Robbie Lawler. But not just that. Robbie Lawler always brings war. Robbie Lawler is the epitome and he is the vibe of Valhalla. Robbie Lawler deserves to sit there, and I believe it was the Tyrone Woodley chinning that got him into Valhalla. Conor McGregor, I'm fucking watching you closely, mate. I'm not sure if you're in. But this is it. This is a wrapper. Is this not the most glorious image you have ever seen in your life? Tell me you wouldn't want to go and have a beer in this hall. If this was happening at a Hofbräu house near you, would you not want to go into that hall? Tell Juliana Jędrzejczyk, I can move myself back over here now. I'll go to the opposite side of Odin. Would you not want to go in there and tell Juliana Jędrzejczyk, oi, bring us some beers, love, and just start chatting to everybody? Maybe not Bilal. Maybe not Paul Craig. Maybe not Ben. You know what? These guys, you guys consider. Bilal, you're going over here. Pavlovich, you're going over here. And you three are the whole... Wow, we made it, did we? Yeah, you did. You did. But is this not just one of the greatest parties you've ever seen? This is amazing. And this is what we came up with on the live stream. And as I've said a couple of times on the channel, the live stream viewers are not the same as the viewers who watch the videos. There's always a little bit of crossover. So now, if you guys ever want to join me on a live stream after you've seen someone be absolutely brutally chinned, let me know about it. Say, Dougie, make sure you get him into Valhalla. Did I get anything wrong here? Am I missing any of your favorite fighters? What have we screwed up? I'm sure there's something that we've screwed up, but this is it. This is the fighters so far that have made it into the glorious halls of Valhalla. This is what it looks like when you close your eyes at night and picture all the boys up there just sinking beers, boys. Just sinking beers. If this is your first time here, g'day and welcome. My name's Dougie. I make an MMA video every single day of the week, and I try and go live at least 3 times a week where we do fun stuff just like that. If you want to know when all that happens, hit the subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I go live and you know when a new video drops. And let me know down there in the comments who did make it, who made it that you thought shouldn't have been in there, who should be in there that I've completely forgotten about. Let me know about that down there in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like. And if you're one of the paying members of the channel, thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you. Your names are up on the next slide. And until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Everyone have a good one. Goodbye.